Our last Power Talk presenter of this morning's session is a gentleman who's on a mission. The CEO of CEO Space International, phenomenal. And I want you to put on your seatbelts because he's a ball of energy. And please give a round of applause to BernyDohrmann as he talks about the entrepreneurial mindset in the entrepreneurial age. BernyDohrmann, please.
BernyDohrmann, as you have probably surmised, is one of the few white guys that bless our stage because he's special. As Jeff Hoffman, you saw Jeff Hoffman. How many of you liked what Jeff Hoffman had to say yesterday? Unbelievable. Special. You saw Ratanjit last night in the interview. How many of you liked what he had to say, right? He's different than us. Bernie is, in a sense, a soul brother and is one of the most important men in America. He started and built CEO Space. He's a chairman of the board and CEO, although he is stepping back and building a succession plan for his successors, as I am also trying to do, so that when he is fully retired, CEO Space does not go away. When I'm fully retired, the power networking doesn't go away. I am on the faculty of CEO Space, along with our sister Linda Clemens, and it is a phenomenal experience. It is what we call a next level experience. It's for those brothers and sisters who are at the next level of building their ideas and building their business. Bernie is, and I've said this and I say this with love, Bernie is a savant. He is right on the border of genius and insane. This is just where you want to be, right? To do what we do, you have to have a little bit of insanity, right? To take the risks that entrepreneurs take, you have to have a little bit of insanity. You have to walk on the edge. It was the great Joseph Campbell who said, "Leap and the net will appear, and there will be 1,000 unseen helping hands waiting just for you." Now, analyze that. Leap and the net will appear. Not the net will appear and then leap. Bernie and so many of you out here have leaped. And there are 1,000 unseen hands waiting for you. Bernie has been a great mentor of mine. You notice I have all types of mentors in all types of places and situations in the world. And I think Jeff Hoffman talked about this. I'm an info, what did he call it? An info sponger, right? What did he call it? It was, info sponging. So, are we ready with Bernie? We're ready. Okay, great. That's what they call in television stretch, all right? So let me bring to the stage one more time, if we can use, do we have our little fire piece of music? Will you play fire, because Bernie is about fire. You're going to see more Bernie at the luncheon. We're going to do an auction with Bernie and myself and Linda Clemens, but we'll talk more about that later. Please welcome to the stage, to the Power Networking stage for the second year in a row, BernyDohrmann.
I have a good friend of mine. His name's BernyDohrmann.
Bernie's not a kind of guy. Bernie is many different kinds of guys.
Bernie has been accessible, available, very real.
I couldn't have done it without CI Space and without the support of Bernie.
I just want to say thank you, Bernie.
I know what the guy's been doing for 20 years because I've been working with him on and off for 20 years.
Not just from my standpoint, but from the entire learning scope of some of the best trainers in the whole world are at this event.
In all the conventions and things I've been to in 45 years, I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't seen anything close to it.
The film's about what Bernie has created here, which is an amazing.
As I told Bernie, it's one of my favorite events to come to.
Bob Sucosta. So you've been coming here since 1993.
I know, amazing. And you look younger every year. This is not something that starts on Tuesday and ends on Sunday. This is something when it starts, it never ends. And this is the only place that I get this excited about. I really do. Because I believe in this man and what he has put together.
You've got BernyDohrmann, who is absolute genius.
See if you can do that.
Let's give BernyDohrmann a round of applause, if you please. Bernie!
I want to thank you guys for staying on a Memorial Day weekend. I want to honor my pastor, Freddie Haynes, and his wife, who are sitting over here from Friendship Center, one of the great pastors in the United States, for leading me in prayer in my spiritual life. I'm so grateful to both of them. And I want to acknowledge, I can remember Michelle McBride, who's my national sales director. She's somewhere in the room. If you just stand up so I'm going to tell a story about you, and I want them to all see that before I start my slides. And I want to honor George, my partner for all these years in this work. And Michelle was with me in Atlanta when the casting director for Selma was sitting at the table, and she reached over to her file folders and she pulled them out, talking about how much effort she had put in this film, as this was one of the most important productions of her lifetime, having won a lot of awards. And she pulled this out and she started crying, and I said, "Why are you crying?" And she took these black and white photos, and she was showing Martin Luther King in the Birmingham March. And she put her finger 3 rows back next to Clark Clifford, who's the Secretary of State later, and said, "Is that your father?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she went back a few rows and she said, in this teenage boy, "Is that you?" And she was crying. "You remember, Michelle?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, that's me." And there were tears down her face. She said, "Did I get it right?" And I know some of you are old enough in this room that you knew Martin Luther King, but you probably didn't sit on his lap when you were 4 and call him Uncle Martin like I did. So it was a different reality for me, for my dad to yank me down there and find out what the real world was like, and what had to become a part of my life, which is to lift our community up to the White House and beyond. And so we're just starting. We got a lot of work to do, and that's why George honors me to have me here with you. I said, "Yes, ma'am," for the unborn generations who would never understand what it was like. You got it right. And for those generations, we now have a way to show them that on their watch, they don't have a right to let down their guard 1 inch. Now, in deference to George, Jeff Hoffman, who he met at that place, is not allowed back here because he did not follow the dress code and he's wearing clothes from Priceline.com. I did follow the dress code, but I have rebelled today, as I saw a couple of you did. That man with the red pants and the red tie wins the suit award for today. But George, I have rebelled on Memorial Day weekend. So you see, I'm black, not all white. I was brought up in a very wealthy family by a nanny, and I took the bus from age 7 to age 19 down to the projects and played ball with I didn't even have a white friend or play with anybody white till I was later in my teens, simply because it was more fun. When I took my adopted boys at 7, 8, and 9 to New Year's in Athens, Alabama, you don't know this story, George. I took them to a 3-hour revival where we brought together my favorite black pastor and his community, kind of like yours, Freddie, into my favorite white pastor, and they joined their congregations. So for the first time, my boys with their little suits and their hands folded are seeing a different kind of service. And they're surrounded by black ladies and gentlemen who dress a little different and their hair is a little different, and that's all that's surrounding them. And this black gentleman, about 60, gets up and Freddie's tooting and going, and he goes, "Preach, preach!" And the women started getting up and going at it. And these little boys looked at me with their blonde hair and their blue eyes, and they leaned over the oldest one and goes, "Dad, can we do that?" I said, "Yes, son." Pretty soon they're up front with all the black kids. Then my oldest comes back toward the end of the service. 3 hours later, you'd want to be out doing something else when you're 9 than praying for the new year. And he came up and whispered in my ear and he goes, "Dad, when this is over, we want to go to their church." And that's when they learned the most important lesson they don't teach in school. And that's the subject of my PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do is tell you, when we say, what is our core problem? We're in election year, man, it's important. This isn't something we can fool around with. Is it financial? Is that what it is? Should we go down the Trump train? You know, something's gone wrong in America, really bad. But what is it? Is it one thing or is it a bunch of things? And I'm telling you, so you that stayed will take it into your Memorial Day, it's one thing. And before I go into my slides, I do want every veteran in this room to stand up that put on a uniform for their country. This is Memorial Day weekend. For all of you that have lost someone in your life, we honor you and celebrate you. This holiday weekend's for you, and that's from a father of a United States sniper team leader, Marine, 2 tours in Iraq, 4 surgeries, and 1 Purple Heart. Hoorah for my son, too. All right? We honor you guys and gals. Thank you so much. And you know something's gone wrong in this country. The core issue is competition itself. Competition is actually a failed model. For organizing a family, it sucks. For organizing a venue of people or any venture into a corporation, for organizing politics and systems of politics, it's mean. Competition is a virus on the brain of humanity, on human software. It's actually the problem of everything, and the rest is symptom. The core virus is our thinking area. And I believe, and you don't have to share this as we go to Sunday tomorrow. You don't have to share this. But I believe competition is Satan, and I believe its name is not Satan, but is first competition with God. I believe everything about competition is evil, and I believe its opposite is from the Holy Spirit. Competition is a pyramid when you organize people in it, of fear at the top, exploitation at the bottom, and punishment at the very bottom. You're fired or you're getting a divorce. Competition thought forms. It's the one pure evil on collective thought. It's a virus of consciousness. This conference dispels The cause of all problem issues in relationships, the source of a problem in a relationship is competition versus cooperation. The cause of all corporate pain, and we proved it with the largest companies in the world, is competitive organizing theory versus cooperative organizing theory. It's the cause of all political crises in the world. If we cooperate, we don't have them. Competition creates two crises. The first is the epidemic collapse of personal and social integrity. If I cooperate with you, I've got to have integrity. If I give up integrity, you will not cooperate with me. The crisis of integrity creates a result which is a crisis of leadership. You can't have leadership without integrity, not real leadership. Competition evokes the 11th commandment. Thou shalt screw unto others before thou art screwed unto. And that isn't written on the big stone, it's the big lie. But we have our shields up. This is not our idea of America. Dog eat dog, getting our daughter a PhD so she'll kick her best friend off the ladder so she can get to the top first. She should learn, earn, and return and lift her best friend up higher than she is. And we should be teaching those values in America. The virus removal tool is cooperation. Cooperation is the holy of all spirits. Cooperation cultures and systems. Read the book, People versus Profits. It's a national bestseller right now. It tells you about the cool companies. It tells you about Southwest Airlines when the man's trying in LA to get to that plane. He's racing as a grandfather like a crazy person in LA traffic because his grandson at 3.5 is going to be taken off life support because his methamphetamine crazed out alcoholic stepfather beat him into a coma and he's going to die. And he wants to make that flight to be with his daughter before she has to pull that life support. But he can't make it with TSA at LA, the last gate at LA for Southwest Airlines. He gets there, and Southwest isn't known for picking up your bags and running with you. He gets to the plane, he's 20 minutes late with tears streaming down his face. Nobody's at the gate, except when he gets there behind the gate with his arms back like this is the pilot. And Southwest gives their people power to make decisions. And that pilot said, "Sir, you're the most important passenger I have today. And this plane goes nowhere without me. And I'm so sorry about your loss." He didn't see that person as a ticket. He saw him as flesh and blood with a divine immortal spirit. And he was people versus profits. The man at whatever it is, Trader Joe's on that snowy day in Colorado, and it's Memorial Day, so it's a good story, when that 83-year-old veteran is 4 days on the mountain without food, and they're at the, I'm not kidding when I say this, 22nd store saying, "Do you deliver food?" And they all said, "No, we don't deliver food." And the daughter couldn't get out, didn't have a 4-wheel drive. And the Trader Joe's manager said, "Yes, sir, we do," and took that order down, threw some extra things in too, and had their 4-wheel rig take it up there and deliver it. And they didn't charge them for the delivery. In fact, they didn't charge them for the groceries, and they don't deliver food, and this guy paid for it all himself. That's people versus profit. But that got a front page story in the Denver Post for Trader Joe's because somebody cared. We're starving to get back to that. So cooperative culture systems are high functioning. They outperform competitive systems always, in a family, in a business, in nations. Cooperation is not a pyramid management system as a model for business. Cooperation is hub management. It's a wagon wheel model. Hub management systems work. They revolve around reward and performance, recognition and celebration. Millennials will stay with you, come in early and leave late. If you give them recognition and celebration, they'll work harder for that, and they do pay. Spokes distribute the common vision we're all working toward in our lifetime, and no wheel wobble from competition. We don't let that evil in. And the goal is vision momentum. And I tell you, I can remember when Walt Disney stood on the ground and said to 9 kids, "If you can dream it, you can do it." And he wasn't talking about competing our way to build Disneyland. Cooperation system rules the cool hypergrowth leaders: Google, Apple, Pinterest, Zappos, Facebook, the Obama administration. How many leaks do you see come out of there compared to previous administrations? 3M Corporation, because they're switched on for something of higher purpose. Bill Clinton has stated on national news, we cooperate or we perish, right? We cooperate or we perish, which is right out of my book. President Obama is quoted from the book on Martin Luther King's anniversary on this mall square. Hillary has it in her hands, hand carried to her. That book is a revolution for your family space, your workspace, your government space. So precise tools and tactics to guide you if you want a cooperative life and you want to say, and you say, "Begone, Satan." You do it. And Freddie, you do it. But you say, "Begone the competition," and see how you feel tonight when you're on your bed with your wife. Watch the difference, because you called it by its name, and it will leave you. Humans flourish in cooperation because it's from the Holy Spirit. Humans wither in competition. They wither up. Economic lies. Competition will bring us stuff faster, cheaper. That's a lie. AT&T would still have us with the old phones in that model. Competition gives us all a better standard of living. It doesn't. Cooperation does. Competition is cheaper, faster. It isn't. Cooperation is. Competition is most efficient. It isn't. It's a lie. Everything about Satan's a lie. Competition levels the playing field. We have equal opportunity. Then why are we in this room? We're in this room to bring up those that can't get in the room. We're in the room because we have a responsibility, because those behind us must be lifted up by our example. George is bringing a voice to the world. Do you know how important the voice was when 2,000 people were in this room and we were given recognition the world's never seen before? We were witnesses to history some of us march for. Michelle, you were there when the Baltimore marches started. We were one row up. We were watching the marches in the street. And what did I say? Turn the car. I'm going to the march. You said, no, you're going to the plane. I said, no, I'm going to the march. He said, I'm not letting you go down there. I said, I'm going into the march, right? I lost that one. Because women run the world. Competitive capitalism history. 1% own more wealth than 99%, which is where we are now. Meltdown. Then you have competitive trade wars. We're having that now. Then you have a super crash. Then you have World War to rebalance. Is that insane? If we've done that over and over again, can we do better? Can we stop that? Can we not do that anymore? We can have a better way. The competitive virus is a pure, concentrated form of evil, and we get it on our brains. Cooperation is holy and pure goodness. Let me give the attribute of Satan when he's first born. His first thought: all diversity, all God's diversity is punished and belittled. In cooperation, all diversity is celebrated. It's celebrated. Are we celebrating diversity, or are we punishing it? And I don't mean black and white. I'll put my eyes up and just do it with facial expressions, because we communicate past our words. We do 1,000 cues with our body. Oh, you're Jewish. Oh, you're Mormon. I think they're Christians too. So you're Catholic. I mean, we have so many things we don't celebrate. We need to celebrate and be in the Holy Spirit's energy. And all you have to do, if your life is blue screening, you're getting that divorce over and over, you're having that bankruptcy over and over. Dad used to say, one idea and you don't go bankrupt. One inspiration from God and you don't get divorced. One. God's capital is never ending. It's inspiration, and it's downloading on you. There's real Gmail before Google. And I'm saying your inbox is full too. It's for forwarding. And I'm saying when you look at yourself and your life and you're blue screening and having to reboot your computer of your life, what you have to do is know you got the virus, because you can't get rid of it if you don't know you have it. And if you start saying, how do I come at this cooperatively? How do we handle this cooperatively? How do we not do this with competition? You'll be all right. Cooperative capitalism is fully reportable, It's a new set of laws, 12 of them. Fully transparent, fully auditable, has no secrets in the financial system, so there's no corruption, maximizes full partnership, optimizes opportunity, and assures stability and moderates greed. Why don't we go to cooperative capitalism? So we don't have socialism and communism. We don't have competitive capitalism. We rebuild America and reinvent it with cooperative capitalism, which is what you guys are all doing, because I've been watching you. Reinvent America. The idea of America should be infectious. It should bite you on the ass. It should go around the world as promise and hope. Who are we as a people? What do we stand for as a people? America must be infectious all over again. It must become the lighthouse of the world, the hope of the unborn generation of the entire planet. We can do that on our watch, and it's going to come from you in this room showing the way. You're on the watchtower. Cooperation or competition? It's up to you, because you're on the watchtower. The unborn generation deserve our best answer. And cooperation organizationally from your family to your workspace, that's the theory that is the answer. And I ask you to learn about it and study it. There are a lot of books out about it, including mine. Learn about it and embrace the future. So I wish you a cooperative future, free of toxic competition. And I tell you, in my view, being here at Power Networking is a historic event. And I walk off this stage, if I had a prayer rug and I was Muslim, I'd be 5 times a day praying to wherever George Fraser stood. God bless you. God bless you all.